Hello and welcome to the Arena Sports Show. We're absolutely excited to have you alongside us as we look into what's been happening in the world of sports. Today it's a different episode where we'll be focusing, of course, on everything football. Particularly, we do know that on the African continent, one of the biggest tournaments, that being the Afcon, is currently underway. So we'll be looking into the Afcon. We'll look into Bafana after their defeat against Mali. Absolutely heartbreaking. And then also we'll turn our eye and look into the Nedbank Cup draw that will be happening. We do know that it's one of the biggest tournaments here in South Africa as we get a fight between David and Goliath. Clauiee Mpanza is the name, but you can call me Legs of Thunder Jr. Never alone. I've got my panel alongside me in Click Click Bang, who still needs a nickname, Sizwe Mabena. And of course, my favorite influencer, as you can tell, he's in the right apparel for the influencing job.
I'm on the right wing.
You're the
It's funny because I'm left-handed, left-footed, and I'm on the left wing, so it's so good.
That is, of course, Mahlatse Mphahlele, but I'll call him Bra Mahlatse now and again. And it's funny, Bra Mahlatse, how I always have a fight with, people your age about why do I get to call you Bra Mahlatse? Sizwe Mabena always says, Bra, I'm also old. Dikgang Mabalane also used to say, I'm also old. Why does he get it? And I'm like, no, man, there's levels to the bra thing, you know, because respect must be here. You, Mabena.
It's 2 weeks now. Last week I didn't have a nickname. This week I'm not Bra Mahlatse, I'm not Bra Sizwe, I'm not Bra anything. I don't know. I feel an agenda, but I'll leave it for now.
Yeah, I think this is personal. You should call him Bra Sizwe because we're pretty much of the same age.
I
know, but I can take you serious. Sizwe Mabena, it's so difficult to take him serious. Like, I struggle, and I mean that in the nicest way.
Okay.
All right, gents. The last time we were here, we were looking, of course, into the tournament that was about to start. Now it's finally underway. Before we look into Bafana, I will start with you, Sizwe. Your impressions of the tournament so far. I mean, Côte d'Ivoire started off so well, ensuring that, okay, we've got an opening ceremony that looked absolutely amazing. And on top of that, they gave their fans 3 points.
Gave their fans 3 points. It was a full house. Great opening ceremony.
Yeah.
Great way to start the tournament with the 3 points. Lovely opening goal from Bafana. So the bar was set right from the first day, which is a beautiful thing for Côte d'Ivoire. Great thing for the tournament as well. Yeah. It looks great. It feels like a big international tournament happening here on the African continent.
For sure.
The eyes of the world are on it as well. Over 110 broadcasters internationally.
Insane.
So everything is set right, and what's happened since then is even better. Goals in every game, no scoreline. I think we're averaging something like 2.75 goals a game, or over 2 goals a game, and the upsets as well. So it's been a perfect tournament up to this point in the way of the first round of matches.
It definitely has. And Bra Mahlatse, when you look into it, I mean, we've been seeing legends of the game, which I think is something that's absolutely amazing. Because you ask yourself sometimes, but where's the representation? Why are we not seeing our former greats? And from the opening ceremony, we've been seeing the likes of Diouf, the likes of Shaba. So that shows that the good thing about this leadership in the administration, CAF, is that they want everybody from different parts of the world, different parts of the continent to be a part of this showpiece. Your thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I think it's important that people who have been there, who have done it, must go there. In a way, if you're a younger player at the Afcon big tournament, you see those guys who have done it before. It can serve as a motivation. So it's good from CAF that they are also, just to acknowledge the former players who have been there.
Yeah.
Some of those guys have won it before. And as I said, it's good for the younger players to have a reference point, So I'm quite happy that the guys are there, and I'm sure they're having fun,
And I mean, to add on that, we've seen Diouf playing, a leadership role, a senior figure to Onana, right? I mean, perfect way to bring him in. He says to Onana, I get you're upset, because we've seen Onana, he was upset about the fact that he wanted to play, but because of, traveling logistics, he couldn't play the first opening game for Ghana. But that leadership, that seniority to say, hey, calm down. At the end of the day, it's a team sport. So I know you're not happy about Onana's behavior.
Yeah, a little entitled if you ask me. But then you have to look at his track record. Sent home from Qatar. When Cameroon won the Afcon, they invited him as part of the squad. He turned that opportunity down. They went on to win the Afcon without him. So he arrived late for this one. You understand why the second place keeper would then be chosen to go into the starting 11. Everyone can understand. You arrived on match day after a bit of drama as well. That he was a bit upset was upsetting. You know, and then he felt a bit entitled. But then also nice to see El Hadji Diouf, like you're speaking about the current players and the legends stepping in to play their roles as legends.
Yeah.
And El Hadji Diouf coming in to maybe calm him down is a nice touch. And that's why they're there. Not only for us sitting at home to say, hey, there's Diouf or there's Simuleto, but also to steer these guys in the right direction so they don't make maybe the same mistakes but Diouf maybe made in their careers and so on. So, but for Onana, I think he needs to relax a bit.
He needs to relax a bit.
And humble himself a bit and just be a part of the team.
But also there's always drama with Onana.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Every tournament.
And the other thing is, I mean, I watched their opening match, and you know, if you really look at why he fought with the coach at the World Cup, the coach Rico Betson doesn't like this thing of a goalkeeper playing from the back. Because the current goalkeeper, I just forgot his name. He likes to just hoof the ball forward. He doesn't play from the back. But if Onana comes in their next match, obviously that match will have played by the time the thing comes out. But you know, it will be interesting to see how he plays because he likes to play from the back, which is what the coach doesn't like. So he creates a very, very interesting poser for the coach for them going forward.
All right, since we've already started with Cameroon, we might as well look into the other teams, right, where we've expected them to win, get maximum points, but that hasn't been so. You look at the most successful team in Afcon, that being Egypt. We expected them to hit the ground running. But one thing that we've said, gentlemen, right, is that you can't expect a Mo Salah to carry the whole team by himself. What did you make, Mabena, of Egypt and their first game and not getting maximum points?
Well, firstly, they didn't lose.
Yeah.
So they got a point. So all is far from lost. It's only the start of the tournament, but it's important that they did pick up a point.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they showed character. You saw in around the 90th minute when the fourth official put up 7 minutes, there were boos coming from the fans that knew Egypt had built the momentum and looked like they were coming back into the game.
Yeah.
You could feel it that 7 minutes was something was going to happen in referee's optional time, and something did happen. A VAR call, good VAR call as well, and a big one, first big one in the tournament, and maybe a bit of a wake-up call early from Egypt. You don't need a loss necessarily to get that wake-up call.
For sure.
And yeah, I think Egypt still, we yet to see the best of Egypt. That game was the wake-up call they may have needed. Luckily, it came with a point.
It definitely did. But Mahlatse, you look into Ghana for me, yeah? I mean, when you speak a Richard Ofori in South Africa, Orlando Pirates, Richard Ofori, a lot of the Pirates fans will always say, this is not the Ofori that we bought at Maritzburg United. And then you take it to the AFCON and you look at the mistakes that he made in that encounter. What does that say to you about Ofori as a keeper, not just on the national team, but also then looking into back in the DStv Premiership and then looking into Ghana as a whole?
Yeah, it's also a little bit surprising that they've picked him to play for them. And Ofori is a guy, is a goalkeeper who's always been an accident waiting to happen. Anything, you will never know what you'll get from him.
Yeah.
He can have the most beautiful game for 75 minutes, 80 minutes.
Yes.
And then he makes a costly mistake. And I mean, obviously we're not saying this because we're trying to put the guy down, but he has always had that thing of not being concentrating for the whole for the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be very, very costly. And, you know, he has not been playing for Pirates. Maybe there may be issues of fitness, there may be issues of conditioning and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But it looks like the technical team, they like him. And I'm sure he can grow into the tournament as the tournament progresses. If maybe they get out of the group and, you know, they go to knockout stages and that kind of stuff. But he obviously needs to improve because if you're a national goalkeeper at that level, you really, really have to eliminate mistakes. And so far, you know, it's
it's taking now.
Yeah, it's taking so far, yeah.
Bamba Yega
here and there. But I'm glad you mentioned consistency, right? Because I've been speaking to some of these South African keepers here, and they've always alluded to the fact that it's different when you play for a big team. Because in a big team, all the other 15 teams, they want to come against you, and you have to show up game in, game out, every time. Whereas Maritzburg, you can just show up for the big three, right? And then the pressure is not as hectic. So some say maybe the lights have blinded him in Johannesburg. I don't know about that, but you can let us know your thoughts on Ofori. Yes,
Mahlatse says they might get up to group stages. I say let's keep in mind the next game is against Egypt, yeah? And this is an Egypt side that also is in need of 3 points, which of course makes it the more interesting. Both these sides are somewhat desperate to start to hit the ground running. So it makes it all the more interesting and makes it a better AFCON that there's pressure so early on.
Yeah, definitely. And the pressure continues for Nigeria. Nigeria, I saw a lot of people trolling. Mr. Mahlatse, you would know a lot about trolls because you get a lot of trolls.
Yes, his fair share of trolls.
Yeah, you roll with the punches.
You wonder why I stay away from those spaces.
No, we need to get you in that space. But I mean, the trolls say that the thing with Nigeria, right, is that they'll have the hype of Manchester City. You'll think, oh my goodness, this is a star team, quality, star players. And then on the day, they show up like a Chelsea, and that breaks my heart because I'm a Chelsea fan, and that comparison was just like, I mean, it's not all that bad. Sometimes we win. Yes, currently things are looking a bit shaky. But what have you made of Nigeria in this encounter and the squad that they've ensembled together?
Nigeria are always like a lucky package, you know. You don't know what you're going to find as soon as you open up.
You just don't know.
They have the good players. You look, it's a star-studded team, and as with many national teams, you know, the challenge is always making these star players to function together as a unit.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, it's still early days in the tournament, but of course, there's a quick turnaround of matches. The sooner they combine, the sooner they gel, as we always say in football, the better, because it will be rather, you know, very, very embarrassing if they are not, you know, they don't play as a unit, and they lose and they don't get out of the group. So it's very important that they need to find each other very, very soon, because so far that first match, they were far from convincing.
Yeah, Mabena?
Was it a question of far from convincing, or can one argue a case of with 19 shots, 7 on target, 1 shot on target conceded, where their keeper had to make 1 save the whole game? They outplayed their opponents. They just didn't score.
Yeah.
For me, it was, look, they could have won 4-1. They could have won 5-1, 3-1. They just didn't convert their chances.
Yeah, you have to convert chances. If you don't score, you may find yourself in serious danger. They always say there's not the time for comments in the goal scorers column. You know, so you know, it doesn't matter. You know, you can play the best football matches to lose.
And it's weird we say that. It's weird we say that because they've got in the qualifiers the top goal scorer.
Yeah, they
and here he is. He's amongst those that's most guilty in the first round of matches.
And by the way, the very same guy, he's not having the best of times in Italy at the moment compared to what he did last season. So they need to step up. Otherwise, this is okay.
Yeah,
no, definitely would. But I think to add on that as well, I mean, I remember I was listening to this coach, Peter Musimane, and he was saying that, you know, it's great to say you've got a good squad and you're playing well. But when the results are not forthcoming, it then becomes a bit of a challenge, because at the end of the day, we are judging you on the results. You need to score. So as much as I guess can be said about South Africa as well, you know, we're so excited saying, yeah, man, that first 45, absolutely exciting. This is the Bafana we want to see. And then at the end of the game, now the tone has changed a little bit. But before we get into Bafana, you look at a Tunisia, right, who are in the same group as South Africa. And they also didn't get results that they wanted. And that's a bit concerning, because you look at a Tunisia who went into the qualifiers having scored about, I think, 22 goals, if I'm not mistaken. And Mali had 15 goals just in the qualifying. So that shows that the goals are there for both these nations. But Tunisia's side, they didn't get the results Mali did.
Yeah, which, again, for me, I've always thought this was a group of death. And I've also thought it's a very dangerous group for South Africa. Yes, we want South Africa to do well, but you look at Tunisia, and the stats you've just pointed out tells you it's a good footballing nation. They still want to get back at us for 96 for the final.
I saw Yaya trending.
They got us in 2006 in Egypt, but this result means for them it's do or die. They have to come out and play against us. They have to come out and get the 3 points, which makes it interesting. For Mali, I've always respected them as a footballing nation.
For sure.
I don't understand how they haven't won an Afcon up till today. But in what we saw in that second half, for me, it's the Mali I expected to see. And it's a dangerous Mali, physical, big, athletic. And when they do get it right, second half, they look as good as some of the best teams in this tournament.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. And Mahlatse, we might as well start, right, with the group and
The
look
postmortem.
yeah, no, let's look at what went wrong for South Africa. I mean, we went into this, and I guess I'll start with you, Mahlatse, because I remember the last time we spoke, I want to start with the centre backs, because your preference into that one, you thought, okay, I'll see a Clauiee and Sibisi going into that encounter. And that's not what we saw. We saw Mphahlele, rather, alongside Clauiee. And the communication between the two, for me, was a bit not there. Hence, we saw a lot of mistakes. I mean, from simple throw-ins, and you're like, oh my goodness, how are we getting such silly mistakes? What did you make of that partnership?
Yeah, well, I guess it's part of the reason why we are here. I don't think they clicked together. I didn't expect Mphahlele to play, but obviously he must have been cleared by the medical people, and he didn't look to be in any kind of discomfort. And I think he played fairly well. That central partnership, I think the person who I look into not having been assured in his performances was Clauiee. Also comes back to the issue of he hasn't played much at SuperSport United. He's been put on a bench by a teenager, Afcon. He only plays when Ime is not playing, so that in itself says something.
Yeah.
But the coach likes him, he believes in him. That's why he's given him opportunities after opportunity. I just don't know if he will continue keeping showing faith in him going into the next match, because really he was the weakest link in that game against Mali. Putting somebody in, maybe Gran Kekana, who plays with Mphahlele at club level, it may be another possibility of saying maybe let's put guys who know each other very well. That may be another option. But Clauiee, definitely from the opening match, he was the weakest link.
So an interesting point I heard is that, well, it's clear observation actually. Goalkeeper Sundowns, everybody in the back four, barring one, is Sundowns. And maybe that confusion defensively was because of that understanding you speak of, where maybe teammates wouldn't have made some of the mistakes that we saw from the central defensive pairing, where I remember in the first half there's one bounce that beat both of them. And both of them were out the game and in trouble at that point. So, maybe there's something to fix in the central defensive areas, either communication and understanding, but there's certainly work to be done there.
All right, so last week you mentioned the fact that, the tall guys, the physique, they're going to give us a run for our money. Coach Hugo comes afterwards and says, yeah, no, those guys are tall. They are strong and powerful. It didn't work for us. Some people saying, no, this man is making an excuse. But now when you look into the South African squad and the physique then of the Malians, do you guys, from your opinion, I guess you can start with you, Mahlatse, since you've already seen the game, is that a valid reason to say that perhaps, yes, it contributed to South Africa being defeated because of the physique?
Well,
Clauiee got brushed off the ball for one of the goals.
And I mean, for the second goal, it's true. The Malian boys they're big boys, but you have to compete. That's why you are there. It's Afcon. We knew how long ago that we were going to be playing against these guys. So that it may be a reason, but it shouldn't be the main reason as to why we lost. And I mean, we have already discussed the defense, but in the midfield, if you look, I think the coach would use Pepolo Stole because he's a big boy. And though he didn't have the best of games,
he frustrated me, Mahlatse. I was like, no, I wasn't happy with him. Like my biggest thing was, my guy, we want to score, okay? We're trying to win, but you're giving away too many back passes and too many sideway passes. So now that communication going up front, it was just disjointed for me. I wouldn't have started as Sithole.
Well, I think the coach may have been swayed for going with him because of, for the physique. Maybe ahead of a Monare, maybe. He may have felt that maybe Monare will be dominated by these guys. But, they came back from the second half and, Mali came completely different side.
Different side second
half. And I don't know why they ate in the dressing room, what the coach said to them. But if they continue playing like the way they played in the second half, I think they will definitely be the team to watch. From our side, for the lack of the big physique and stuff, we can still dominate teams by trying to play them out of the park. We've got the players who can be ball-playing players. When Mushishi is there doing his thing, Aubrey Mudiba joining from the midfield from time to time. Though he doesn't necessarily play the way he plays at Sundowns. But I could see that sometimes there was that temptation of him of leaving his position at the back and going to the midfield to try and make things happen there. So we've got the guys who are good ball-playing players who can make things happen for us. For sure. To try and make up for that lack of strength and all that kind of stuff that the North Africans and the West Africans have.
It falls back to our positives. And there certainly were positives in the first half. And those, when the aspects you speak of came to the fore, moving the ball, it looked nice. Opening 25 minutes, we were whistling with the guys I was watching the game with. We were up and down, and we felt good as South Africans. It felt as though the game was there for the taking. And the entire first half, you think if Percy converts the penalty, if Percy converts another chance he had a little bit earlier, different story altogether. But then again, it goes back to the old South African problem in that when you're on top, can you convert? Can you score goals? And I think I saw a stat that says in our last 9 Afcon matches, we've scored 1 goal when we have scored. 1 goal. Per Afcon match, which is not enough for me at this standard, at this level. It wouldn't have been enough against Mali. We might need more against Namibia, and we definitely might need more against Tunisia. So goals, when you're on top and you've got the momentum, score goals. And there were positives to take out of that game from South Africa, that first half. But when you are riding the wave, score goals. And that's the issue we've got. Maybe we're missing Matiba and Lyle because of that, but goals.
But so also, the interesting thing is, I was very happy with the Evidence Mahopa, though there was not enough supply up front to him, but on occasions, though, he will hold up the ball very nicely and then lay up the second ball to the guys who are oncoming. And he got a bit of stick from the fence, but I think he played fairly well. And I wouldn't be surprised if the coach gives him another opportunity to start in the second match. So, it's true. We missed the penalty early. Had Percy Tau scored that penalty, could have been scoreboard pressure. We could have forced them to make mistakes. Momentum for us. Maybe that penalty leading 1-0 could have spurred the guys on to go for the second, close the game. So that missed penalty really dealt with us in a negative way. But also we missed a penalty but still continue playing. I just don't know what happened in the second half. So it's just too many things.
I'll tell you what happened in the second half.
Mali
woke up. They came out. You could tell 5 minutes in we could be in trouble.
We definitely were. All right, so we can't spend too much time on that game. I know we'd love to have popcorn and sit and talk about it a bit more. But now going forward, right? I mean, we've already touched on a few of the problems, but now going into an encounter against Namibia, who we know very well, that they know these South African players quite well. So they don't go into this encounter fearful of Bafana because they've played alongside our players. They know each other very well. So what do we expect Coach Hugo to change? Because I think that was also some of the criticism that the subs that he made may have not been the right subs for that encounter. So now going against Namibia, what are some of the changes, Mahlatse, we'll start with you, that we should expect to see?
Yeah, I guess firstly that match they might as well just play it at Orlando. It will have a PSL field.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of the number of players that are in the Namibian side that are playing South Africa. But I expect changes. I know coaches can be stubborn sometimes. When a coach is set on a particular lineup, they don't want to move. Given the way we played in the second half, surely something was not right. I don't know if you can fix it completely at training in a couple of days to get it right in the next match. I do have a sense that the coach may change. If it was for me, definitely I'll at the back there, I'll take out Clauiee and put in Kekana. In the midfield, it's a bit tricky. You feel that you really with Mushishi. If the more we go into this tournament, the lesser minutes he's going to play. Because you remember, even at Sundowns, he doesn't play the whole 90 minutes. You have to manage him properly so that he's not overloaded. So what do you do with Mushishi? Do you start with him? Do you put him on the bench? It's another issue there. So I foresee that there may be changes up front. I think Mahopa will continue, though the coach also maybe under pressure from what the people have been saying, that maybe give Mpanza a chance and see how it goes. But definitely for me, there will definitely be changes there.
He spoke before he left, before the Thursday they left, of the coach, Hugo Bruce, of the need of guys like Thabang Monare, and justified why Thabang Monare is in the squad, and said that sometimes when you're in trouble, you need the experience of guys like Thabang Monare. And I think we might find ourselves in the spot of bother right now. And Namibia is a great game for a guy like Thabang Monare because it's the Namibians.
For sure.
He can have great effect in where size and strength is not too much of a factor. You need experience, you need a guy who can play, who's got the confidence and who's been around, done that. And I think if there is a change, maybe we might see him coming in with that experience, with what the coach said in the past and why he selected him. So that's one area of interest for me.
For sure.
Monare and his experience, and maybe a few more experienced guys if you are going to make those changes. But also, I'd like to just take a hat off for the Namibians, man. What they showed us in that first game against Tunisia was, look, give us our respect. Whoever you are on this continent, give us our respect. And I love the way they went about the game. They created chances. They could have easily scored more than two goals, or let's say maybe 2 or 3 goals in that match, had luck on their way. And it makes it all the more interesting. We're the only Southern African side not to have lost so far. It's a Southern African derby. We're so familiar with the Namibians. When they scored, I actually celebrated. I jumped up and down, and I felt like I was part of that, the reason for the joy as a Southern African. So it's sad that we meet as Southern Africans now. But big up to them, man. Big up to Namibia. Good luck to South Africa. But it's what a game it promises to be. I see goals and entertainment here.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's going to be exciting. And so now when we look into, the support, Mahlatse, right? I think one thing we can say between the rugby fans and the football fans, there's a difference, right? When the Boks went to lose against Ireland, it's not all lost yet, okay? There is a bit of hope. We'll bounce back. And then Bafana, you see the change. I mean, immediately. I don't know about on your side. But first half, there was so much excitement. Second half, oh my goodness, this is the Bafana we know. Oh my goodness, this team is not going anywhere. Oh my goodness, they are such a disappointment. And I'm just like, sheesh, guys, what about supporting them even when things are not looking so well? What have you made of the support for Bafana?
Well, that's South Africans for you. They say everybody loves a winner. South Africans have got no chill. If they don't like something, they say it. But I think there's still a lot to play for. You know, Bafana are still in the Afcon. Bafana can still qualify for the knockout stages. I think maybe as a country, let's back the guys. You know,
I agree.
I'm sure wherever they are now. They must have obviously slept over this disappointment, and they'll have to sort of refocus again and be switched on and do their stuff at training. And it will be nice if they go to training knowing that the country is behind them. You know, and not that whenever they open their phones and they see all the people, So I would say let's support the guys and let's see how it goes. It's not going to be easy against this Namibia side, because we saw against Tunisia that they are a very organized team, and they've got a good coach who doesn't make too much noise.
For sure.
Played football at the highest level in Germany, came back home to kind of impart the knowledge he has gained over there. It's a team without stars, bar maybe Peter Shalule left Sundowns, and they work together as a team. They're fighters, and we will have a problem. They won't be scared of us because they play against us here week in, week out. So it's a match where the application must be correct, and everything must just be right. And obviously the guys must not be under pressure or desperate to say, no, we have to win this match, because if they go into that match with the mentality of pressure, that's where they're going to make mistakes. So let's back the guys.
It's a derby, we have to.
Let's back the guys, and if we win this match, the confidence is back. We go to Tunisia, and we can actually beat Tunisia.
I think it's worth reminding the fans also. 4 third placed finishers are going to be going through. So
have you bought your calculator already?
Hey,
no. Straight after this, and I'm going to.
You're still going to buy it. You must have it ready.
After that game, because
you should know your country.
All is far from lost. Even if, let's say, we get a draw, get a win then against Tunisia in the last game, all is far from lost. And we can't give up that easily. It's still a lot of football to be played.
So I'm glad that you mentioned the giving part, because what I wanted to ask you then was the character, right? Because a lot of times when you look into Bafana, the past 5 years or so, we love a good comeback story, right? Everybody wants to say, oh my goodness, they were trailing, but they turned it around. And we love that as fans. Bafana, I don't remember the last time, but for you, it's been long since they've done that ability to come back. And I think this last game is the perfect example, because they literally shut down and you saw them losing their tactical position. And you're just like, this is not it. So that mentality of Bafana, as much as I love them so dearly, I really do. But that character, that strongness to say, listen, we're not giving up until the 90 minutes is over. Do you see it? Do they lack it? Is it something that they need to work on?
I think when you look at Namibia, and when they look at Namibia, if they concede first, Bafana concede first, I mean, I don't think they'll give up that easily. Like you say, I mean, Bafana is the most PSL represented side there. Namibia is second in the way of PSL representation. So these people know each other.
Yeah. For sure.
In the last 3 games, I believe it's been 3 draws, but Namibia has been closing the gap slowly, and maybe they've caught up now in just standard and level. With us playing them at the Afcon, we've played them twice and beaten them twice at the Afcons. The famous 4-1 back in '98. And most recently, a few Afcons ago. So I don't think Bafana, if they are to go one down, will be shell-shocked against the Namibians. I think they'll have reason and they'll believe they can fight back, knowing these opponents so well. They know Dion Hotto, they know Shalulile. And it's hard to, knowing Mahlatse, if he's to land one, to believe I'm just going to let him land another 2 or 3 without responding. I want to land one back. Yeah. I don't want Mahlatse to beat me, especially since I know him.
You know what is interesting in this match?
Yeah.
I can tell you now, on a million occasions at the Sundowns training,
they talked about it.
Peter Shalulile has done extra training with Ronan Williams.
Of course.
Peter Shalulile will know each and every single thing about Ronan Williams.
As will Ronan.
As will Ronan. He will know how he places the ball, how he takes his shots and stuff like that. And that was going to be a battle within a battle that I'm very much looking forward to.
Also, can you picture Hotto and Manara maybe at training talking about, hey, when we meet in Côte d'Ivoire, can you picture Shalulile and Zwane talking about, hey, we'll show you guys in a couple of months. These are conversations I'm sure they've had.
Yeah.
And it makes it all the more interesting, of course, but it means no one's going to give up easily, and it makes for a better game for me in prospect.
And 100%. I mean, Ronza has been taking a lot of hits as well, saying, but when you look into the game, the previous game, the Mali game, he made a lot of saves as well. I think he was, one of the star players. Yes, we loved an Obi Madiba. I did, right? But Ronwin as well saved us from conceding a lot of goals. On that note, before we wrap it up, I want to find out from you guys, star players in that Mali game, well, just one. Who was your star player in that account that made no mistake and you thought, oh my goodness, they are playing so well, they're having the time of their life in this encounter?
The postman. Don't even need to think about it.
Oh, he always delivers. Obi Madiba. What?
It's a no-brainer. What he said, it's a no-brainer. You and I discussed it as well.
I thought you were going to go with Ronwin.
No. Out of the South African game. No, Obi Madiba's...
No, he's
I was
class.
so impressed with him, and I thought his composure and the way he handled the moment and the stage was just outstanding. Even at left back.
I just hope.
And betting, is that where you're going?
I just hope he's a little bit further up,
Oh, I'm again.
Yeah, man.
A little bit.
Let him invert me there.
Someone asked me what does invert
No, those days of left back.
What does invert mean in Zulu? I was like,
it was for Coach Rulade.
Well, on that note, we're wishing Bafana all the best. Hopefully they will make us proud. On that note, we were at the Nedbank Cup draw. Let's find out what some of the guests had to say about Bafana ahead of their encounter against Namibia. Listen, it was absolutely exciting. And the Nedbank Cup draw, oh my goodness. Let's find out more. more club matters, yeah? Let's start with national matters, that being Bafana at the Afcon. What have you made of them in first defeat, and perhaps a little bit of harsh criticism, but what have you, from a coaching perspective, your thoughts of Bafana?
I think you try something and you put up a team and you think that team is going to do the best and they're going to get you the results, and we missed a penalty, and we made some bad decisions in the second half, but the team was not that bad, but of course as patriots and people that love this country, we want the country to win and succeed, follow the box, follow, all of those things. So the expectations are very high.
I think we lost the game in the second half, but hopefully we can improve and hopefully we can beat Namibia and Tunisia.
Hopefully, we can only hope. I want a positive from you, yeah? I mean, yes, we talk about the performance, but when you look into the last game that we had, what stood out for you and what did you like from that Bafana squad?
The way we played, the style we played, I think it was really attacking. I think defensively in the first half we were solid. Maybe in the second half we didn't do so well. Hopefully we can improve in it and maybe we can score a couple of goals against Namibia and Tunisia.
First defeat didn't go too well. What did you make of the team performance?
I think in terms of playing football, we played quite well. It's just we conceded the goals at a crucial moment, and we paid for it because we lost all the points, and we had a chance to take a lead with Pesitao, and penalties can go either way. So for me, we have a chance. The next game is the important one. We need to get maximum points, and then if we get maximum points against Namibia, then the last game, then there's so much to play for, and I believe we can edge Namibia. I believe in the boys.
Stellenbosch FC were in the semi-finals last season, and they will face Pretoria Callis, the Romans.
You did mention Chipa United, your new home. How has it been for you? And of course, the Nedbank Cup draw. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's been great. It's been great. Good reception from the players and the management, the Chipa, and what a team! I think it's got good vibes. Coach Morgan is still there, so we don't start from the scratch. We do have someone that's got more information in terms of the players, and some of the players I've played with when I was still playing and or against, but we've got new blood that is coming through the Eastern Cape. So I'm looking forward to the project. And
well, from one champion, you just won the Carling Black Label Cup not so long ago, which is absolutely a great feat. Now we've got the Nedbank Cup that's up for grabs. How are you feeling ahead of that?
Well, the form in, I'm feeling very confident. I think Callis is going to be a tricky opponent. Hopefully we'll analyze and get their weaknesses, and hopefully we can beat them to continue in the cup and win the cup.
Amazulu Nedbank Cup draw is why we're here. How are you feeling about the draw, and perhaps also how has the break been for you in terms of club level?
Yeah, good draw. At least we know who we're playing. We can, get footages to analyze. I mean, if you draw a team in the third division, very tricky. So we know who we're playing. A hard team. They like playing. They know us very well. So it's gonna be challenging too. But I think my team is capable of getting into the second round of the cup.
Gents, it was just one game. Look to the future, and you're up against Namibia next. And I know you're going to give it your best. Sometimes in life you just give your best and God will do the rest. The dice might fall your way, but as long as you give your best, it's enough for us.
Bafana, my message to you guys is forget about the game of Mali. It's gone. We can't do anything about it. Let's refocus. Let's regroup and focus on Namibia. We are all behind you. Make us proud, but most importantly, make yourself proud.
The Nedbank Cup draw for 2024 done and dusted. We've had also some interesting conversations looking into Bafana and their performance. A big shout out, of course, to some of the players that we spoke to. Really interesting conversation there. And of course, Coach Thabo September, who joined us on that one. Gents, hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did here with Mahlatse Mphahlele, who somehow disappeared. I know you don't see me, but he is with me here. From us here at the Nedbank Cup draw in Rivonia Sandton, it is cheerio. Welcome back to the Arena Sports Show. Interesting thoughts and views from some of the coaches and the players that we've managed to speak to at the Nedbank Cup draw in Rivonia. Well, we bring it back here in studio, and I'm absolutely excited about this. We have a little bit of a challenge for these two gentlemen. The one with the nickname being my favorite influencer, Mahlatse Mphahlele, and then the one without a nickname. So I think you can see who I'm kind of hoping will make me proud here.
I told you there's an agenda here. I can feel it. There's an agenda here.
There's no agenda, none so ever, Sizwe Mabena. But so, in a minute, I'm going to ask you questions, and you need to answer them as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Is that all good?
This feels like an aptitude test.
No.
Are these political questions, mathematical questions, geography?
So, it's not an aptitude test. It's literally just about Afcon and a bit of Bafana. So, to see how well you guys know about this big tournament that we have on the African tournament. African
She
continent.
must bring it on.
You said bring it on. Thanks for calling me Prasiza, by the way. Clauiee, you could learn a thing or two, but anyway, let's keep it moving.
I'm taking notes.
Let's
I'm
keep
taking
it
notes.
moving.
I think it's going to take you another 20 years to get the bra status, okay? All right, so are we ready with the timer, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, and we go. We'll start with you, Mahlatse. Which nation is the most successful Afcon?
Egypt.
Cote d'Ivoire hosting the Africa Cup of Nations for a second time. Which year did they host it for the first time?
1975.
Who is the leading overall Cup of Nations scorer?
Hassan.
Which two nations played the only opening game stalemate in the history of Afcon?
Pass.
Only 4 players have scored in 6 different Afcon tournaments. Who are they?
Hassan, Samuel Eto'o, Didier Drogba, Roger Milla.
Need 2 more.
Phil Masinga. Pass.
Okay, we've got 5. Okay, which year was Afcon founded in?
Pass.
Which year did South Africa make their debut in the Afcon tournament?
Pass.
Bafana were banned by FIFA for how many years? Time. Okay, cool. Got it. Sizwe Mabena.
Yeah, this is okay, let's go.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Are we good with time? Okay. In 3, 2, 1, Mabena. How many South African coaches have coached Bafana?
How many?
Mm-hmm.
Pass.
Which Bafana player has the most caps and how many?
Aaron Mogoena. 5?
Okay, are you sticking to 105?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 2 players are tied at 23 goals for Bafana. Who are they?
2 players. Benny and Sean.
Okay. Who was the youngest Bafana player in the 1996 Afcon squad and how old were they?
Pass.
Okay. Which nation is the most successful Afcon?
Egypt.
All right. Who is the leading overall Cup of the Nations scorer?
Samuel Eto'o.
Which 2 nations played the only opening goal stalemate? Okay, cool. Only 4 players have scored in 6 different... Okay. Which year was Afcon founded in?
1954.
Which year did South Africa make their time?
There are too many passes. I'm sure it's a 0 this one. I'm sure it's a 0.
Never.
No. You didn't get it. I think you got at least 1.
At least. Let's check this out. I can't wait for this tally to come up.
Listen, we'll definitely bring the tally results in just a jiffy. All right, so we've got the results from our auditors.
Okay.
This has been audited. people have checked this out.
Uh-huh.
So I wasn't just asking you and not having people check this out.
Okay.
So, who do you think won? Just indulge me.
It's hard to say, yeah?
Yeah.
It's really hard to say.
Hard to say. Okay, so you got 1.5 correct.
1.5.
1.5.
What's 1.5?
So, the Aaron Mokoena part, you
Yeah.
got him right.
Yeah?
And then it's 107 caps, not 105 caps.
Oh, I missed it by 2.
Yes. So
Unlucky.
that hence the 1.5. That's where that comes from.
Yeah?
And then Mahlatse,
5.
listen, this was a very low scoring game. I'm gonna make that very clear. There was not, too many goals scored. You got 1.
Like Bafana.
So I won. You got 1.
You got 1. You got 1.5.
Oh, gosh,
so,
okay.
I mean, that's not
Can I
bad.
query one or two things?
What do you want to
The
query?
most successful nation at the Afcon is Egypt, right?
Yes.
We both got that.
Uh-huh.
So isn't that another point?
No. Well,
How
it is.
counted?
It is. It is counted. It is counted.
So
It
that's
is
the
it?
only one that I got.
yes.
No, we got that. We both got that one,
You
right?
both got that.
Someone
Then you
let
did a
us-
lot of passes.
Samaleto's the top goal scorer.
Yes, that's your one.
That's another
I said,
point.
I said,
That's
I'm-
more
I'm-
points.
Okay, cool. So it's been great, gentlemen. We'll
need
leave it at
auditors.
1 and a 1.5.
So we're rejecting these results.
Yeah, that question. No, we need to send this
You
to
guys
Price
are
Waterhouse
so
Coopers.
Oh, someone else to audit it. But it's fine. Gents, thank you for playing along.
Okay.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. We do it again next week. Enjoy, of course, the Bafana and Namibia game, and of course, all the other encounters in between, right?
And please stronger together also with this Bafana. Not only
Yeah.
the Springboks.
Yeah. Good luck to Bafana, by
Good
the way.
luck.
So, do I see you guys wearing jerseys on Sunday? Hey, that silence is...
It's golden.
It's so loud. It's fine. We'll leave it at that. I hope you wear, of course, your Bafana jersey, or even the colors that symbolize Bafana. We'll deal with that. From us, of course, from the Arena Sports Show. Have yourself a super, super duper weekend. And, of course, we'll catch up again soon. Cheerio.